silkin' pickin' when I really get to clickin', but I'm looking for a sister to the bottom when I kiss her. If you want some lovin', just let me know.
How's the air, Ben?
Yeah, it's lovely.
We're good, yeah?
Yeah. Not too bad at all.
You should be able to see me to your low left now, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, I see you. Wow, bro. This is insane. This is a pretty special flight today. Me and Paul are quite high at the moment, so I haven't got comms. But he's coming over to say hi. There he is. There he goes. Yeah, boy, asymmetric. Yeah, go on, buddy. That is flying through the top of the cloud. Beautiful. Drop through here. Whee! This is fantastic. This is the kind of flight I love. No agenda. Just good old fashioned paraflun. Wow. Look at that for a view. Holy crap. Tell me, what other sport can you do this? You wake up in the morning, pack up your wing, pack up your motor in the back of your car, you turn up at the field, you have a hot drink, and then a few minutes later you're in the air, you're amongst the planes, you're flying between the clouds with your mates. It's a cloudy day today, but I can fly over there and look at it. It's beautiful sunshine. Me and Paul, we can fly around these clouds, have a little bit of fun. We're in Class G airspace and the rules are stay clear of cloud, so don't fly through them. And maintain visual with the ground. There's Mr. Goodwin. The thing is though, I mean today's an exception because there's a ceiling up there, and then below it you've got a lot of little puffs. But very often as paramotors we can go above the clouds when the planes can't. Or at least VFR planes can't. So we only need a tiny little hole to go through because we're quite slow moving, and we can pull really tight turns to climb up through the cloud layer. However, a plane with its much greater kind of forward speed would need a much bigger hole, and also because they're travelling a much greater distance or much greater speed, they would find it much harder to stay above that little hole and maintain visual contact with the ground. Whereas Paul and I, we can pull nice tight circles, and we can stay above that hole, maintain visual contact with the ground, and get beautiful views like this. I mean, this is surreal, right? This is absolutely surreal. I've been flying now for a year, Paul's been flying for nearly 2 years. I've only ever come up above the clouds once before, and that was in Cheltenham. Beautiful flight. But paramotoring, I don't think, you know, no matter how long you fly for, I don't think you can ever get bored of doing this. I mean, look at what we're doing right now. Most people would never get to experience this. At least this side of freedom. I mean, you know, in a big commercial jet when you're going on holiday, you'll get a good view, you'll go over the clouds, it'll all be amazing. But being able to actually fly around them, interact with them, with your mate next to you doing the same thing, that's what paramotoring offers you. And here we are, 2 wings dancing above the clouds. Ah! Alright, Paul. To the left. And to the right. I'd have been a bit more impressive if you'd done it through a cloud. There he goes, look at that. Yeah, buddy! Well done, dude. You get that. So that's the M4 below us right now. Membury airfield. So it's a busy bit of airspace here. Got a lot of planes that fly over the top of the of Membury airfield. You've also got planes that are using the M4 to navigate, and we'll be following it. You've got paramotors, you've got helicopters. Over in that direction you've got Brize Norton, which is a big military airfield, so you've got a controlled zone there, and the odd Hercules taking off that you've got to watch out for. Membury airfield itself obviously has the paramotor school, but it also has a microlight school. I think they're called Airborne Aviation. And so they're often flying around with students or taking up people who have bought Groupons to go for little pleasure flights. So busy bit of airspace. Paul and I have had times where we've had to turn away from aircraft, whether that be a sea rescue helicopter, which was the scariest one we've ever had, or it's the odd microlight and you do a little gentlemanly rock of the wings as you pass by. But yeah, we have a lot of fun as paramotorists. I'd recommend it to everyone. And it's weird, like, you look down and you're like, fucking hell, I'm hovering above the earth. There is nothing that separates me from the ground but these little strings here. However, I would definitely class myself as someone who's afraid of heights. It took me 2 attempts, when fitting my solar panels on my van roof, it took me 2 attempts on the ladder to pluck up the courage to go up on a 3 metre high roof. However, I think nothing of going to 3,000 foot. And I'm not the only one, I'm not the only pilot with this. And I've debated it with people. I think there's an element of surrealism, so your brain can't, or doesn't really realise that you're up very high above the ground. It's also an incredibly safe sport. It's let me rephrase that. This sport is as safe as you make it. So if you go and fly in gnarly weather, or you take risks, especially risks close to the ground, where you haven't got as much time to recover if you have a problem, then it's an extremely dangerous sport. However, most of flying an aircraft of any type comes down to pilots and decision making, and your ability to realise that sometimes you're better off staying on the ground. As the old saying goes, it's better to be on the ground wishing you're in the air than in the air wishing you were in the ground. That being said, this is an incredible sport. I think lastly, the reason why I'm not scared of heights up here is because it's so bloody relaxing. I mean, me and Paul right now are sitting in what's effectively an over-engineered deck chair. Yes, we've got an engine on our back, and we're a bit above or we're below a bed sheet. But all these links, I mean, that links can take God knows how many tons of force. The wing and the lines, you know, everything's got such massive factors of safety built into it. So there's no feeling of unstableness or danger. You're kind of just sitting here above the world, and you're too busy enjoying the view to worry about the what ifs. I think another thing about flying, or the warm fuzzy feeling that comes with flying and being relaxed, is flying with someone that you trust. So me and Paul have flown together a lot now. We both know how each other operate. We're almost always on comms to each other as well, so we're communicating in the air, we know where each other are. And if we're not on comms, we'll always remain in visual contact. I definitely I trust Paul as a pilot. I've seen him make some really good decisions on the ground. Very often we'll discuss things before we go up and make sure we're both happy, we know our route, we know what the weather's doing, we've both assessed it, we've assessed the landing options as well. It's all about minimising risk. And if you've got a pilot that you're flying with, and you know that they are also making those decisions and judgments, it's a lot more relaxing for you. You know that they're going to at least look and do a clearing turn around before they'll start doing a spiral dive down to the ground. And so you know you're not going to end up with someone coming through the top of your wing. There are some great people you meet flying paramotors. I love going to the fly-ins, where you kind of camp out in a field for a few days. Everybody's flying, everybody's talking aviation. You go out with some friends, maybe you do a couple of little missions. You might fly to a village green, land on the green, and go into a pub for some lunch. To a coffee shop for some hot chocolate to warm up, which would definitely be nice right about now, a bit cold. I personally was able to land near to a McDonald's once and go in and grab some breakfast. I personally was able to land near to a McDonald's once and go in and grab a McBreakfast, which was lovely. And I ate it in the air. I actually did a flyby of the airfield whilst eating that hash brown. Just two paramotors floating through the clouds. Yo! So Paul and I as well will, if we're flying in close proximity like this, we'll establish who's the pilot in command. So, for example, if Paul went to take a photo now, you can see I've got my hands on the brakes, and because my wing's slightly faster, I'm controlling my speed on the brakes. I'm holding level with him, so I'm actively flying the wing. There he goes. Look at that. Hello, little tip collapse there on my inside, which is unusual. I reckon I must have flown through some of Paul's dirt. There he goes. Look at that, he's having a lot of fun. I think I'll have some fun. Go through the middle, I think. Why not? It's a shame we can't fly over the back there, because there is actually some sunshine. What's happening is you see that bank of clouds over there. Directly below it is the ridgeway. So obviously wind's hitting us from this direction, we're now into wind. It's hitting that ridgeway and that's pushing the air up. And that air is then condensing into that kind of cloud layer that we're seeing. Or that cloud front we're seeing over there. I think we'll trim out and go and catch up with Paul. So I've never actually used the speed bar in this wing. It's something I really want to try. I've seen people and I've flown near people on Roadster 3s who have been using speed bar, and the difference is significant. It's about 50% on the speed bar and about 50% on the trimmer. Whereas Paul's universal over there, I think that's 70 or 80% on the trim range, and then 20% on the speed bar. So the landing today is going to be interesting because the ground is quite boggy. And when I say quite boggy, what I actually mean is extremely flooded. There are large patches of standing water on the airfield, so it's not certainly not ideal. There are, however, a few high points on the airfield, and they have remained reasonably dry. So I'm going to be aiming for one of those when I come into land. I've got a feeling that Paul's wanting to land because he's hovering on the field and has just decided to lose some altitude. Just do a quick clearing turn. Okay, he's over there. Look at that hole in the cloud. That's quite funny, that. So that hole in the cloud is pointing directly at where there's smoke coming out. It's almost as if someone's got a magnifying glass up there and is pointing it at the ground. And the ground's caught fire. So this is the danger zone here. So I'm above the airfield. The planes, their circuit here is 700 foot, and that mast is 500 foot. So I can judge the altitude that they're going to be at by the mast. Now, I'm going to have a quick check of the windsock, and I can see that the wind is into wind exactly where that microlight is parked at the moment. So it's the opposite to where I'm pointing now, is that kind of direction. So I'm going to do a little downwind, and I know there are going to be planes on downwind to this runway here, so I'm kind of scanning out over there at the moment. I know through local knowledge of the airfield that they do a last minute turn over these trees too, so they come in low here, they start their descent, and they turn onto runway 05. Can lose some altitude. There we go, Paul's going in for landing. Again, I'm scanning out, looking for planes. So again, don't really want to land anywhere too boggy over here. Turn in, turn out, like so. I lose a load more altitude now. 1, 2, in, 1, 2. Hook the turn, that's it. Over here. That's it, come in, a bit of speed. Come in for a little swoopy loop. Next to Paul. And there we go.